finally did it and made some forks for my busted old nasty tractor that looks like it's from Afghanistan. Yeah, they work pretty well actually. I couldn't believe it. Let me show you how they work. So basically, the first step I did was I put a piece of angle iron, I mounted it to my bucket. Now I welded it. You don't have to weld this. You can put a lip on your piece. If you want to make one of these, you can just put a lip on this. If you weld, hopefully you do, and bolt it. Bolt it, drill holes, or you can make some kind of pinch system, but make sure that you have a robust, big, beefy piece of angle iron, because that's where all the in this design, that is where all the pressure is coming. You know, mainly on this piece of angle iron. So this thing's got to be serious. Make sure you get a piece with some meat. This is also a piece of high carbon steel. Now that was just accidental. I didn't intend for it to be high carbon steel, but that's definitely a plus. I figured that out when I started cutting it. There's videos out there on high carbon steel, and high carbon steel is very important if you're going to make forks, and if you want to make serious forks that can hold, you know, at least 1,000 pounds or whatnot. Regular forklifts, their forks are high carbon steel too. I think 4140 and another type of steel usually, from what Google told me. These are, I have no idea what these are actually, but I know the fork material itself is high carbon as well. I got these, all this metal actually, this guy and these out of a random farm's field. They gave me a bunch of steel because they knew I was fabricating, so they just gave it to me for free. And yeah, they turned out to be high carbon. I could tell, another way you could tell if they're high carbon, if you're working with scrap metal like me, is when you cut it with a grinder, and there's videos out there on this, you won't get a stream of sparks. Well, you'll kind of get a stream, but you'll have firework effect. So your sparks will kind of explode like that off to the side, all around your cut. You know, as opposed to mild steel, you'll have a straight shot. So that's one way of telling. It's also, it produces a different smell, I've experienced personally when I'm cutting high carbon steel. But yeah, the reason you want high carbon steel is because it will flex instead of permanently bend. You know, if I use mild steel on this and I overload it or pick up a heavy load, they will bend permanently, most likely. High carbon, they'll flex and then they'll go right back to their original form for the most part, especially if you find a way to temper it, you know, to a certain temperature. But we won't get into all that. I'm not an expert on tempering, you know, I just regurgitating what I've learned from YouTube basically. But yes, high carbon steel is the way to go. You can use mild steel. If you try it and you watch this video, let me know how it works out in the comments. I imagine like a very robust pieces of angle iron, you could probably pick up a good amount of weight with it before bending them. Let me show you what I used exactly and what I did for these. So I started with U channel. I think this is either C or U channel. I got a bunch of these out of that field. Big long 14 footers, a huge stack of them, very handy steel. And they're high carbon for whatever reason. I don't know if they are recycled railroad, most likely made out of recycled railroad rails. A lot of this metal is, like bed frame angle iron. I think it's somewhere around 1070. If I had to guess, that's probably the type of steel this is. Maybe if somebody knows specifically what these are or what they might have been used for and why they are high carbon, please comment and let me know. Anyway, what I did was I just pancaked them together like this, and I hit them with some welds on the side, just like that. So, you know, 2 is definitely better than 1. If you're trying to make brush forks or something like that, you can use thinner material. But, you know, for my purposes, which I intend to continue lifting up like 1,000-pound pallets and stuff like that, I need some serious forks that aren't going to fail right away. And I'm probably going to end up reinforcing these even more too. And let me show you how they go in and out. So this is like a 45-degree bend here. Probably not exactly, but it doesn't matter. And what I did was I actually had some of this too, this channel right here, which this is mild steel. It's not too serious. If this doesn't really need to be high carbon in my opinion. But I got this off a cart I fished out of the canal, and I'm using it so it catches the bottom lip of the angle iron like that, and then they kind of lock in. Now what I would like to do is take another little piece of angle iron and weld it right here on the bottom, so it kind of helps hold them into place more, because when I'm bouncing around and driving, they do kind of, you know, get out of whack a little bit and go a little crooked. And then I would also like to weld a reinforcement here. And you don't have to use exactly what I used. You can also use, let's see if I got it. Like I was saying, that took me a minute. You can also use bed frame angle iron. And the way I would use this is I would probably take quite a few pieces and sister them up and weld them together like that, or you can make channel out of them and weld them like that, and you'll get some square channel, and then maybe layer a few other pieces on top. But bed frame angle iron is typically high carbon steel as well. You know, you cut into a piece of mild steel and cut into a piece of this, and you'll see the difference. And you might even smell the difference too. Like with some of this, there's definitely a different smell. Yeah, so you can use bed frame angle iron. It depends too on what you want to do, like how much weight you want to support with these. In my case, I'm shooting for around 1,000 pounds lift, which these work great for. I've already tested them, and they've lifted 1,000 pounds. And another option is fence posts. You can buy this at Home Depot, and this is typically high carbon steel too. Now I don't know if I wouldn't say it's high quality high carbon steel. I think it's a mixture of recycled railroad iron and maybe some cast iron or you know, but it does have a little flex to it before it snaps, you know. It doesn't just bend. But that's another, you know, you could sister a few of these up and weld them together in some kind of configuration, and they would probably support quite a bit of weight. There's a couple other videos I saw on YouTube of guys using these for brush forks, you know. So, I mean, and you could, you know, put a bunch of pieces of mild steel together, a few pieces of high carbon steel, just see what works and experiment with it. But this design here seems to work exceptionally well. Alright, well, I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know. I'm going to start putting out more videos. I got to get on top of that and just do it. I get wrapped up into things, and I don't want to turn on the camera and edit things. So I'm working on it. Progress, not perfection. All right, good luck.